Vaccine injured woman censored from sharing her story with friends on Facebook.
All right. Now, let's be honest here. When this gets really bad, which I have a feeling it will in the next 24 to 36 months, we need to remember the individuals who run these, social media companies that'll, hid this, ran interference, or did propaganda for the people that did this. We must never let them get a free pass because they're just as culpable in all of this bull crap as even the companies that made it. And then we have even all of the governments in the country that forced it. There needs to be accountability. Now, whatever form that is, I don't know. I'm not advocating for any craziness. I'm just saying, do not allow any of these people to get a pass, in my opinion, of course.
Last year already, there were Hollywood stars and other people calling for an amnesty. We've all made mistakes. We might have made some bad decisions during the lockdowns. We might have made some bad decisions with the vaccines. What we need is an amnesty where everybody can just cool off and think about it.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I'll give you an amnesty right after I'm done with you. I'd like to have a brief discussion with you in an abandoned gravel quarry by a cliff.
And we'll leave it there.
Allegedly, of course. Allegedly.
And we'll leave it there.
Crows have to eat too.
But listen, this is going to be one of the greatest travesties for quite some time moving forward, barring the dropping of nuclear warheads.
Yeah.
Just saying.
So this woman, also 52 by chance, from Gloucester, England. That's not Gloucestershire, for those of you who try to struggle with those. It's Gloucester. England received the shot in March of 2021. Within 9 hours of receiving the injection, she experienced convulsions, shivering, breathing difficulties, and low blood pressure. She says she was hospitalized when her condition escalated to stroke-like symptoms.
Wow.
In addition to exhaustion, breathing difficulties, a racing heart, and migraines. Pover and 800 other victims made national news when they struggled to claim the UK government's vaccine damage payment scheme. Anytime the government uses the word scheme, you should.
Well, they do that all the time in England. Everything's a scheme.
I am aware, and it should make you nervous every single time.
Yeah.
After sharing the link to the story on her Facebook feed at the start of the year, Pover says Meta's social media platform put a warning notice on her account. She says Facebook started alerting her friends that her story was misinformation about vaccine. Pover herself, freelance journalist and entrepreneur, said my posts about what's happening to me started having Facebook notes appearing underneath them about vaccination. A group page I was an admin in was shut down completely in the summer of 2021 when I posted the Daily Express article, which did an excellent job of not discussing anything pro or anti. I received a warning and the post was hidden. This campaign of censorship has been going on since the very beginning, since it all started back in March. It's been 4 years now, by the way.
Correct.
Today is the 4-year anniversary of the beginning of the lockdowns for the state of Michigan. That was 4 years ago today.
Yeah. Well, listen. All right. You should be fighting against this censorship with your entire being, to include your immortal soul, because it is the freedom of speech that allows us to warn everyone else of what the hell is going on. Do not allow these companies to do this to you. Find a workaround. Use code words. Do what you got to do. And listen, it's only a matter of time before the lawsuits start hitting Facebook for this. Because let's be honest, it's straight up censorship.
So I didn't pull the article because it wasn't part of this package that we're working tonight, but perhaps I should have. A federal judge has been quoted as saying the First Amendment is becoming problematic because it fails to allow us to counter disinformation and misinformation.
Well, first of all, who gets to decide what's disinformation and misinformation?
They do, obviously.
Okay, that's number one. Number two, if you are running off at the suck hole and you are lying or you have no facts or evidence, it's just a matter of time for somebody picks your argument apart.
The
That's just the way it is.
easiest way to counter a lie is to let them tell it.
Yes.
That is the easiest way to counter a lie. So if this was an online support group relating to cancer or any other type of serious condition, we'd be outraged at the thought of it being censored. We'd be very sensitive to people having to navigate a very complicated health situation. Pover said she made her first post about the side effects on March 3rd, 2021, shortly after receiving a jab. And the week that followed, I was posting about my health and always thought I'd be fine the next day. After a few weeks, I noticed that the little notes from Facebook were appearing wherever I posted on anything related to the subject at all. We're concerned right now that YouTube will go through this and either flag it or demonetize it or bury it.
Or age restrict it, which they do to a lot of our stuff.
That's, I don't mind the age restriction. That's fine. I could care less about that one. People would tag me in posts and complain that they weren't getting any traction. I'd say to them, don't tag me. It will just disappear if you do. This is a classic case of covering up, and there's been a lot of this going on. The thing is, what's been happening is other than me hitting the wrong button, the thing that has been going on is this Apple mouse is a pain in my Florida Surgeon General calls for halt to the usage of the jab after FDA said he spread misinformation. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration has previously said that Florida Surgeon General Joseph Ladapo's concerns over 19 vaccines are implausible. So this is another form of censorship. The government is actually censoring any government official who does not toe the party line. This is classic Bolshevism. This is how you get yourself edited out of a photo when there's no Photoshop to get you edited out with.
You get edited out the hard way.
You get edited out the hard way. Florida State Surgeon General Joseph Ladapo is calling on healthcare providers to halt the use of the mRNAs, citing purported health risks labeled misinformation by federal officials. In a bulletin issued Wednesday, Ladapo, why can't I pronounce this guy's name, claimed the U.S. FDA had not shown evidence that coronaviruses manufactured by the companies had been assessed for nucleic acids and contaminants that could cause cancer. Disputed claims by the FBI that such risk is implausible. Ladapo called for an immediate stoppage to the use of these. Now, here's the thing that I can't remember if it came up on the show in the chats or if I heard it afterward, but it was in passing. I remember the content, though. How many people were vaccinated when this happened? When it kicked off?
I don't know.
Millions and millions.
Well, I know that
millions around
most of the Western world has received a minimum of one dose.
That is millions of doses with millions of doses on standby. Now, March 4 years ago, this kicked off. By June of 21, they had these vaccines. Not only is that not enough time to do the research for something like that, but that's not enough time because those production lines, you're dealing with highly susceptible, highly corruptible materials.
Correct.
To make the vaccines, the ingredients that go into this is what I'm talking about here. You have to have a clean lab. It has to be specifically for this one thing. This is the only thing that it can do. And what appears to be coming to the surface is there's no way that Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson, or Moderna could have possibly kept up with the production. So they farmed it out to China, Vietnam,
and other locations.
And
that was one of the big sticking points to a lot of individuals who are fighting the jab in the military, because they would say this certain medication was approved, but then you look at the bottle and it's not from that company. So they're like, I'm not taking that because this one isn't authorized. This one is. And they literally, the military literally go, well, this is an authorized substitute. And a lot of guys are like, no, hell no.
No, it's not.
No,
Show
it's
me
not.
That it's an authorized substitute.
Yeah. And to thinking back, I should have probably called in one of my former commanders to come on the show and discuss it, because he fought this tooth and nail. And he fought it to the point where he got enough time where he could drop his retirement packet and literally walked out the back of the aircraft and popped his reserve. And he's totally out now.
Wow.
But they were trying to throw his ass out at like 18 and a half, 19 years.
And he
And
managed to slow walk it to get
Yeah,
to retirement. Good for him.
you know,
Good
well,
for him.
he took a few chapters from Pop's administrative violence, and
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's good.
because I fought my medical retirement for like a year and a half.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember. I
I'm
helped you. I think I helped you with some of the paperwork on that. Just depopping things,
Yes,
making them illegible to the average reader.
correct.
The thing with all of these being manufactured in these countries is, do you think they had clean lab facilities?
Mm-mm.
Do you think they had the correct ingredients in the correct proportions?
I'm gonna have to go with no, because some of these pokes were statistically much higher for of side effects,
Exactly.
and that's why.
Precisely. And then there's the issue of, do you think they stored them properly at the correct temperature for the duration as they were shipped from manufacture to distribution?
I think we're gonna go with hell no on that one.
I'm going to go with hell no on that.
Yeah.
If I don't know if anybody out there in the audience has ever been to a South Asian country, refrigeration trucks are kind of optional. That is to say, I don't recall ever seeing one.
Well, I've never been to Asia, but
Yeah.
I've been to South America, and
Yeah.
it's if you want to get a cold drink,
Mhm.
you have to go to a hotel
Yes.
or a bar or go into certain big ticket supermarkets and get it out of a cooler. Other than that, you're SOL.
Ice in much of the third world,
It's a
and
luxury.
parts of the second and a half world are, it's a luxury.
It's an absolute luxury.
It's a straight up luxury. There are parts of Eastern Europe. I had buddies that were over there in 97, 98 for the Czech thing
Yep.
that were telling me that ice is literally still stored in ice houses. And in the wintertime, they will harvest ice and put it in their ice sheds.
Yeah,
so that
and
they have ice.
one of the main reasons why I was so suspicious about the poke and smoke.
Yeah.
Is because they forced me to take the anthrax vaccine when I went over to Iraq. And usually when I go to the VA, I've been to the VA quite a few times because of health concerns. I usually get handed a flyer and have you received any of these? And anthrax vaccine is on the list.
Yep. Yes, it is.
Yeah, and I want to apologize to the supporters out there. For Sunday, I was done. I was driving back from up north. I had a migraine, and last 40 minutes, I was pretty much just puking out the side of my car. So I was in no condition to run the show on Sunday.
I thought I was going
apologize.
to have to come do a health and welfare.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
I thought I was going to have to come do it.
And then we were covering that article about the migraines. I get 1 or 2 of those a week, and they are absolutely devastating. And I couldn't imagine having one every day. That is like hell. Hell.
And you got to remember, this is a guy that was a 1996 world heavyweight champion.
No, I lost. I
American
fought for the FFKA world title, and I believe that was in the winter of '99. I lost in the 10th round to a TKO.
But the point of the matter is here, the guy can take a hit. And
Yeah.
for something to knock him down and make him curl up in a little ball and sob like
bad.
a little girl, it's bad.
And
It's bad.
yeah, and listen, man, it is what it is. I mean, that's probably one of the main reasons I won't be able to do stand-up comedy, is because my health concerns.
Like the comedian who literally fell over dead in the middle of her set.
Yeah. Oh,
Forgot that.
too soon.
Forgot that happened.
The
too
one
soon.
that had all of the boosters and vaccines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Went down like a sack of potatoes.
And she dropped dead, or did she just go unconscious?
Well, I think she dropped dead.
Oh,
I believe she dropped dead. So basically, the government is suppressing anybody in the government who attempts to talk about this stuff. Interestingly, like we mentioned, it looks like this was manufactured all over the place, which would explain all the varied different results. Some people are fine. Some people, no problem. Nothing wrong with them.
and
Some people fall over dead. Some people get paralyzed. They get palsy.
yeah. Here's the thing that really disturbs me. the COVID, when you got sick with it, some people who had low vitamin D levels, it was absolutely devastating. I'm not taking that away. But for normal, healthy people, it was like maybe a severe flu or a severe cold. I got it. And they scared the shit out of the entire world and basically greased some palms for all of the Western world governments to force this low quality, ass backwards, untested, unverified product on us. And we have to suffer the consequences. And they're dare to look us in the face and go, well, we made some mistakes and we want some amnesty.
There's a second.
Go fuck yourself. There will be no goddamn amnesty for you. All right, I'm sorry. I went off.
That's good. There's a second aspect of this that is not being mentioned, and I think it is being very carefully kept out of the media, except people like us are paying attention. So if any of you clowns out there from one of the 3 companies that was making this garbage is listening, we see you.
We know who you are.
We see you, and we're not pleased. Here's the thing. This act, the manufacture of these drugs had to cost money, ended up resulting in a huge amount of your tax dollars, your money being transferred into the hands of private individuals of only 3 companies, plus maybe some of their little satellite companies that make the jars for the vaccine or the needles for those people there. But this represented a massive transfer of wealth. And because of the fear that the lockdowns inspired, there was another transfer of wealth there too, to Amazon.
Yep.
Costco, any of those companies that make all of their money from online sales.
Yep.
Huge amounts of your tax dollars and your personal money went to those companies and has been basically hoovered out of the economy.
Now, don't get me wrong. If there was an actual virus out there that had like a 30 to 40% fatality rate, then a lot of these shortcuts and so forth, they might be able to be justified. But you can't justify it when literally a majority of the individuals, it was like a bad cold. And then our own governor here in Michigan moved infected people into old folks' homes and rest homes.
Partying in restaurants in Traverse City.
Yeah, listen. Anyone who has public office more than likely has a minimum of a 4-year college degree, meaning that they had to take biology 1 or 2 in high school and another 2 classes of biology in college. And it's just basic knowledge. The old they're weak and they could be killed by shit like this. There is no excuse for what was done. And I want to know why that decision was made and what the fuck are we going to do about it? Because in my opinion, this is strictly my opinion, that was fucking murder.
Watch Grunt Speak live every Tuesday and Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern. And if you want to join Pop for Supporters Sundays, go to redonkulous.com/donate and make a monthly pledge. A link is in the Meat Gazer box.